Go ahead and share a little bit about the experience
Okay.
with the hump.
When we went to China, we flew from Miami, Florida. And it took us 2 months to get to China because somebody was commandeering our airplane every once in a while. In fact, I spent almost 3 weeks in India. But when we got to China, we were assigned to the Chinese Military Academy, which had been moved from Shanghai to this little town called Beijing. And I don't know, it was just sort of a political thing. It gave us an excuse to get troops over there so we could, half of their consignment was sent out in the field with the Chinese troops. We were trying to figure out what was going on. Because you know, Japan invaded China before we were involved in the war. And if it weren't for us, China would have folded because we were giving them supplies, resupplying them all the time. But the Japanese had the seacoast sewed up, so the only way we could get supplies to China was through the Burma Road, through India, Burma. And where was I?
We were going to talk about you having to fly the supplies.
Have what?
Fly the supplies through the hump.
Oh, yeah, yes. So the Japanese cut off the Burma Road at one time, and we started to build a new road called the Lido Road. But while they were doing that, we had to fly all the supplies into China from India. And to get to India, to China from India, we had to go through the Himalaya mountains, and they called that the Hump. Now those mountains were at least 25,000 foot high. But the planes they were flying, they were just carrying, they were cargo planes. But the way they got us to China was over the hump in these cargo planes. And the elevation, we couldn't go over. That's the only time in that 2 months of flying that they gave me a parachute. Scared the hell away. But anyway, this hump through the Himalayas, those mountains were at least 25,000 feet high. And without oxygen, we couldn't fly over 10,000 feet. So you looked out the window and you saw trees. But anyway, it was a very frightening thing. I think I passed out. But I had 4 trips through that hump. I made every one of them.
And why was it so fearful? Why was it such a fearful thing to do?
Well, they had zeros in there.
Okay.
The zeros were denominated. They lost 600 planes.
That would be the reason.
Yeah. And so I was just lucky. We flew with supplies. We just had 10 or 12 guys in the plane. And the rest was just cargo. It was a nightmare. I don't remember how long it took. I think it was a couple hours, maybe. I have no idea anymore how long it took.
But it was fearful because of the amount of planes that had been lost, and you had to do that trip several times.
And we couldn't get high enough. And yeah, it was a big operation.
And here you are.
And here, that's another thing. I've been so lucky all my life.
You've been blessed, Dan.